written before about some of the barriers to getting off Ontario Works and how the program actually treats people like they are trying to cheat the system if they do any kind of behaviors that would actually help them to become self-sufficient and more resilient and work their way to getting off of Ontario Works.
Yeah, well, I've attended a lot of focus groups over the years where actually being the guy behind the mirror, they can't see me, but I can see them. But what ordinary, what I would call them ordinary Canadians, why do I say that? Because the people in the room look like the inside of a subway car or a bus. You know, they have that look and feel to them. And the last thing when they're asked the question, what would you do to get out of poverty? You can tell that it's maybe the first time they've ever thought about that question because they sort of look at each other and well then they start in and of course they say well get help from your family, get a job, get an education, get a bank account, squirrel some money away for a rainy day so that you can build up your assets and you know if that rainy day comes, others will say well bunk in with your friends, save some money, try to buy some things together, share the rent, all that sort of thing. And that's the so people will exit out of the focus group room, and then another group that aren't the same people but look exactly like them will come in and they'll replicate that exact same experience again. Get help from your friends, from your families, get a bank account, get bunk in together, get a job, get training, and that sort of thing. And I guess looking at that and thinking of social assistance rules is they have improved. I'll be the first to say that, but there's limits on how much money that you can get from your family and friends. So you can disqualify yourself by getting too much from your family and friends. As soon as you start to earn money, you can keep the first $200 without any clawbacks or penalties. Well, when you think of $200 a month, that's about 1/10 of the minimum wage in Ontario. So, because minimum wage full time is about 29,000. So let's say if you're working, I don't know, 30 hours a week, it's still going to be about 2,000 a month, and they're allowing you to keep 200
Right.
before you get penalized. Often, when you try to pursue training, the office will tell you what you ought to get into as opposed to what you happen to be interested in. So you can't necessarily follow your own course in terms of the training that you would want. There's the programs are asset tested, so if you do get a bank account and start to get an amount in it that's over a few $1,000s, then you can disqualify yourself that way. And of course, finally, if you bunk in with your friends, they're going to pay you less. So so all the things that you would do and all the things that in my mind, ordinary Canadians would say, here's how you get out of poverty, tend to be within some limits to be against the rules of the program. So in a sense, it's not really following the values of folks who would just think what I think of as ordinary Canadians who would think about things like that for the first time. The sort of things that they would do to get out of poverty are actually against the rules.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time today and walking us through this and helping us to understand it better, John.